Nowadays, sports has reached all corners of the world. No matter a person's social class, whether they are rich, poor, everyone can play sports, and that is what I find very beautiful about it. However, not many athletes get the opportunity and facilities just because their country is not economically developed. Because of this, a lot of talented athletes never get to reach their full potential or don't even make it pro. Hi guys, welcome back to the Hurdle YouTube channel, joined by your host Dutch Bose. Today we bring you a topic of why athletes from less economically developed countries don't make it pro or reach their full potential. Make sure to stay till the end so you know more about this problem millions of athletes around the world face it. Before we get into detail, we need to first understand why these athletes in less developed countries have fewer opportunities. For one, many of these athletes don't have the necessary funds to be able to play for these big academies, as their family earns minimum wage. Another reason why these athletes don't make it big is because the government does not provide the necessary facilities to the athletes. Another reason could be due to war, famines, corruption, and many more. Africa is one of the most poorest continents in the world, suffering with corruption, a low GDP, wars, and very bad famines. Africa's athletes don't make it big because of these issues. While East Africans totally dominate in the long distance running, there are very few that make it successful in these sports.
It's 6 a.m. and these guys have been training since before sunrise. Running to Kenyans is like football to the Brazilians. They absolutely love it over here. And I've always seen this as the home to some of the greatest runners the world has ever seen. These athletes are super fit. They've already run 15 kilometers and conditions are tough because we're more than 2,000 meters above sea level. They make it seem so easy, it's like so effortless, but they're moving at a fair lick. More long distance champions have come from here than anywhere in the world. Julius Taros wants to be one of them. He's training to make it into the national team. How far do you run in a week?
In a week, total 200. Like
200 kilometers?
Yeah, a week, average. Yeah.
That's crazy!
Yeah, I mean.
Julius is 25. Long distance runners often peak in their 30s. His coach told me he could be one of the best in the world. Why do you guys run? What is it that you love about it so much?
I run for money.
We are trying to earn a living.
Yeah, earn a living. Because we realize that when you run, being the best, you get money.
The money they earn is barely enough for them to afford the food that they need to fuel their day. Some only have one small meal a day, and so many don't get access to clean water.
So is this where you stay?
Yeah.
This is your house?
This is the kitchen.
All the athletes are poor, but Julius is one of the poorest. To become a runner, what's the difficult things that you have to deal with?
So food is the main challenge.
Julius can only afford to eat once a day. That's nowhere near the amount of calories an athlete needs.
You know, sometimes it seems that this is the last time for me for training, because if I have no food, how will I get the energy for training if there is no food?
Many African footballers rely on moving to Europe to get scouted to bigger teams. For example, France's World Cup winning team consisted mostly of African origin players. Either their parents moved to France or grandparents did. In World Cup history, there has never been an African team that has won the World Cup. A prominent example is Bayern Munich star Alphonso Davies. He was born in a Ghanaian refugee camp after his home country of Liberia experienced really bad wars and famines, and only got the approval to move to Canada when he was 5. The truth of the matter is, Alfonso is lucky. Many talented Africans unfortunately die in these situations. Another example would be Joel Embiid, who moved from his home country of Cameroon to the USA in 2014 and will be drafted in the third pick to the Philadelphia 76ers. In less developed Asian countries, athletes experience similar problems. Corruption and a weak economy has caused athletes to not reach their full potential, similar to the African athletes. Most Asian athletes from less developed countries or athletes with Asian ancestry excel when they are living in more economically developed countries. Take, for example, Manchester United academy player Zidane Iqbal. His parents moved from Manchester to Pakistan, and currently he is one of Manchester United's most prolific youngsters. He would never have been one of Pakistan's most exciting prospects. Another example comes from former Premier League champion team Leicester City, where their player Hamza Chaudhary, who has Bangladeshi ancestry similar to Zidane Iqbal's story, his grandparents moved from Bangladesh to the UK in hopes of getting a better life. Suppose Zidane's parents never moved to Manchester, he would have never been one of Pakistan's most prolific youngsters. Countries such as Pakistan, Bangladesh are one of Asia's poorest countries. Many athletes don't get to reach their full potential due to corruption and not enough facilities. And those who do reach their full potential don't live in their home country. Not only in South Asian countries, but this problem also happens in Southeast Asian countries, such as Indonesia, Myanmar, Cambodia, and many more, as well as in Middle Eastern countries. I got a short video where I asked the Indonesian national coach some questions on why these athletes don't reach their full potential, and this is what he had to say about it. But how can we help these athletes from lower economically developed countries make it? For one, there needs to be organizations that are willing to go to these countries to scout for talents. Big sporting clubs need to open affordable academies where talents can be scouted and then signed. It is important that the pricing is affordable and as many can't afford it as it is too expensive. An international scouting system is most commonly used in football clubs such as Chelsea and La Liga, setting up scouting networks in lower economically developed countries, as well as NBA with their junior NBA program, allowing local talents to be brought to the NBA. Another solution requires international funds and non-corrupt governments. There needs to be funding and campaigns for the sporting industries where it can later on help these young talents reach their full potential. And lastly, the most hardest needs is to be international aid from richer countries to help with the famines, wars, and problems these lower economically developed countries experience. With the help of the more richer countries, these lower economically developed countries can start to recover and their young talented athletes can quickly start to go international. Sports has a huge role to play when it comes to nation building, and the same is evident from the following. It helps in elevating qualities like discipline, determination, teamwork, and passion for fitness in the psyche of a nation, promoting a healthy lifestyle throughout the country, and it can also help benefit the economy of the country with brand sponsors willing to sponsor successful teams. With that being said, we have reached the end of today's episode. I hope this video has brought you important insight, and I hope you learned something new. Make sure to like and subscribe, and please fill out the Google Forms in the description to give me feedback. With that being said, I close off this episode. See you all soon. Goodbye.